Now, according to results from the annual summer spending survey by short-term lender Wonga, South Africans are expected to spend a whopping 250 billion rand this festive season. Travel plans have been suspended in favour of staying home. A greater percentage compared to previous years will shop online, with a third of income being spent on food and drinks. But the latest Deloitte State of the Consumer Tracker has found that 86% of South Africans are concerned about inflation. The largest concern is around groceries, with 78% believing that the prices are higher compared to last month. For more insights, I'm joined now by Deloitte Afrika Consumer Industry Leader Rodger George. Very good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining us. Interesting numbers, and in fact, 250 billion rand being spent this festive season is a 20% increase from last year, according to the latest numbers. What does this really speak to when it comes to spending patterns, especially during a time like this where South Africa's economy is not so stable?
Yeah, thanks very much, Umpo. I must say that, initially when we did this survey, we were quite optimistic around what we'd be expecting. But what has come through is that consumers have actually displayed quite a level of high conservatism. I think based on a number of things. They are very definitely cash-strapped. And you can see that from the numbers that they're reporting in the survey in terms of concerns around making the sort of month-end payments at the end of this year. Also, in terms of their spend, South African consumers are really concerned, about the high levels of spending. And in fact, we are, in terms of all the 23 countries surveyed, our consumers are the most highest concerned in terms of price increases, where in fact 86% of them are saying they're really concerned about spending over the season.
With all these concerns that you make mention of at the forefront, how come we've seen a 20% increase in the spending patterns?
Yeah, I mean, that's difficult for me to unpack. Our survey, surveys the sentiments and the aspirations of consumers going forward. And when we look at what they were telling us, you can clearly see there's been a move, towards increased savings, which I think for South Africa is the first for us. Usually there is this sort of can I say, nuances from South Africans. But if we just stand back and look at what they're trying to say, I think they are saying that times are tough, prices have gone up, we are cash-strapped for finances, and as a result of that, we're going to be more cautious about our spend. I don't think we're going to take spending away. I think spending is always going to be there around Christmas. It's how much we spend and what are the basket sizes that we're going to choose to spend our money on.
And in analyzing some of the ways in which this money will be spent and perhaps the methods that will be used, I mean, online shopping has risen quite significantly during this COVID-19 period. What are some of the patterns showing towards what consumers will be buying and how much their budgets will be standing at?
Yeah, I mean, that's quite interesting to see the patterns of spend, particularly on online shopping. There's definitely been an upward trend in terms of people using the online platforms. And you can clearly see during COVID periods that you have those spikes. And there has been a shift in behavior from the beginning when we started measuring this at the outset of COVID right until now. So behavior has shifted. More and more online shopping is taking place, and consumers are shifting their behavior to make that a permanent part of their life. But I do think there is a very strong element of brick and mortar always. I think whether you spend through an online channel or whether you spend through a brick and mortar channel, it's how much you spend and what you spend on. I think that's the big thing going forward. So definitely there will be spend, but I expect it to be subdued.
Very well. We're going to have to leave it there for now. Thank you so much for your time, Rodger George, Deloitte Afrika Consumer Industry Leader, giving us some breakdown of the latest stats that show that South Africans will be shopping will be using 250 billion rand when it comes to this festive season. That spending pattern being unpacked there by Rodger George.